It's particularly formidable in that it doesn't outright attack its target, but instead feeds on the target's guilt, tormenting them to the point the person goes completely mad or they commit suicide. Doing some research about Hyms to create this video, I immediately found an interesting fact. It has no mythology background, making it unique and special to the world of Witcher. I have read the books and I'm pretty sure there was no mention of it there either. So it's completely the creation of CDPR. And this lore video is gonna be different than other videos I have done so far, like Sirens and Leshen. I'm going to focus only on the game and work on every little bit of information I can find there. So stay tuned and get ready for some facts and speculations. We encountered this creature once in the whole trilogy, showing how rare it is. The story of the Hyms starts in Skellige, especially in Spickerag, where Geralt meets Jarl Udrlik. But before getting into details, let's see what Hyms actually is. Hyms is a demon, and a very dangerous one at that. It is said that Hyms does not belong to the world of the Witcher and is from another sphere that is rather unknown. What's interesting about Hyms is that unlike other monsters who don't care who their victim is and tear them apart, people who haven't done anything to feel guilty about have nothing to worry, because Hyms only targets those who feel guilty, especially people who have committed unspeakable crimes. When Hyms finds its target, it doesn't lunge at them with its claws. No, a fate darker than death awaits the victim, a fate so bad they wish they were dead. Hyms feeds on the guilt of its victim, making them hate themselves even more and feel worthless. But it doesn't end there. The victim of the Hyms hears its voice commanding him to self-harm. Starting small, but gradually the voice drives them to do unimaginable things like cutting their hands or poking their own eyes. And victims accept it, feeling it's a just punishment for what they have done. Yet the story does not end there. People haunted by Hyms have no peace. Even when they are asleep, they see horrendous nightmares, making them mentally and physically tired, finally driving them insane. This sadistic method of torture makes Hyms unique, showing it's not just some mindless monster tearing its victims apart, but rather a smart and sadistic demon who knows there are fates worse than deaths. To know more about Hyms, let's hear its Witcher entry.
According to scholars who wrote behind the Great Veil, Hyms are one of the most dangerous demons and cannot be exorcised traditionally. They inhabit several spheres, including the real world and Gaunter Odim's dark plane. The monsters most commonly claim innocents as their victims: tardy merchants, reckless children, and travellers who wander into dark woodlands out of misplaced curiosity. None of the above need fear Hyms, however. These wraiths only latch onto particularly despicable individuals who have committed some unspeakable crime. To all others, they remain completely invisible. When they do show themselves to the one they torment, they appear as a tall, shadow-clad, humanoid silhouette with long, sharp claws, yet Hyms do not sink these claws into their victims. Instead, they sap their strength directly through inflicting suffering. Speaking in a voice only the victim hears, they drive him to commit acts of violence, aggression, and self-harm. A Hyms will seize on a guilty person's worst fears and weave out of them hideous visions, driving the poor soul into madness. Those tormented by a Hyms are incapable of restful sleep, for they are tormented by ever more frequent, incredibly realistic nightmares. At times the victim will become extremely on edge, yelling pleas or threats at invisible phantoms, or confessing his guilt out loud in the hope this will end his torment. This act does not, however, bring any relief, for the Hyms will not leave until it has addled its victim's wits, completely or driven him to suicide.
When Geralt sees Jarl, it immediately becomes apparent that there is something wrong with him. He talks about a dream he saw and interprets that gods want him to make a sacrifice by cutting his hand. When his assistant tells him he can't be sure it's the correct interpretation and Jarl should wait for more signs, Udrlik disagrees and short while after that cuts his hand, showing how much guilt he feels and also the fact that he believes he deserves the punishment. Here we get to know that Hyms only talks to their victims in their sleep. It's the dreams they see, usually indirectly, pushing them towards self-harm and acts of violence. Hyms shows the sign and the guilty victim does the rest himself. Also, the victim does not know he is possessed by a demon. In case of Udderlich, he thinks it's the gods that speak to him, making it easier for the Hyms to feed on his guilt and sap his energy. The longer Hyms feeds on guilt, the stronger it gets. Later, we get to know that Hyms has a lair apart from Udderlich himself. Hyms has haunted his childhood house, an abandoned ruin full of dreadful memories. A place haunted by the Hyms will give you the chills. You will immediately know there is something wrong there. You lose your energy and possibly faint. Hyms can also conjure illusions, a vision that will terrify you, bring you down and hurt you. In Geralt's case, it was the vision of Ciri, dead. Hyms rarely shows itself, but when it does, it appears in the form of tall humanoid shadow, with long sharp claws. To see it, you must lit a torch or any source of light, then you can see the shadow on specific occasions. According to Geralt, there are 2 ways to defeat a Hyms. Let's hear it from Geralt himself.
Well, know what it is?
It's a Hyms, a post-conjunction creature, very rare and very dangerous. It latches on to men who commit vile deeds. It feeds on their pain for years, fueling their guilty conscience. In the end, Hyms force their victims to mutilate themselves.
Sounds unpleasant. Any way to defeat it?
2 methods that work. In theory. Witcher's bestiaries say you have to spend a night in the Hyms' lair with the affected individual.
The haunted house, you mean? It's hardly cozy, but I wager you've slept in worse conditions.
It's not about sleeping. You've got to draw the Hyms out. It has to emerge from the shadows, show itself. Can't hurt it otherwise.
And it's sure to give as good as it gets.
You've seen Udderlich. It won't be an easy fight.
What's this other way?
They say a Hyms can be tricked. You have to pretend to do something horrible. Then it'll move on to you as its new victim. When it realizes it's been tricked, it'll be forced to leave.
Great. Let's try it.
The way you defeat the Hyms, especially by tricking it, is as intriguing as the demon itself. That was it for this mysterious being of Witcher universe. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to hit that subscribe button and turn the notification on so you never miss an upload. Take care and see you in the next video.